keep coming back to the statistic that 80% of children's waking hours during the years kindergarten through grade 12 are spent outside of school, not inside of school. It turns out that what happens outside of school is every bit as important to what happens inside school in terms of achievement gaps that show up and are measured inside school. Those of us who have privilege provide virtually 24/7 stimulation, enrichment, opportunity to our children. This graph shows back as far as 2006, affluent families were spending about 6 times more money, to say nothing of the time parents are giving to children, on the enrichment and education of their kids outside of school. Poor kids are getting next to nothing. That adds up. In fact, it adds up every summer. Here we are in summer. Most of us who have privilege and have children plan rich environments for our children all summer, whether they go to camp, whether they have tutoring, sports, travel, whether they're cared for at home and read to, and all these kinds of things. Turns out the kids progress, relatively speaking, at about the same level, irrespective of their varying achievement levels during the school year, and in the summer, the gap opens up. Those who have access to enrichment and learning opportunities tend to surge. Those who don't fall back. And the gap, therefore, gets wider every year. There are 12 summers in the K-12 experience, and the gap gets wider and more demoralizing for children and educators each year. Well, I go on to say, why does this matter more than ever before? You know it as well as I do. The majority of children in the United States public schools now come from low-income backgrounds, and the majority are from status we've heretofore considered minority, from subgroups or ethnic or racial groups that we have considered minorities are now the new majority. These are two groups with which we've historically not performed particularly well in public education. So my conclusion is that education reform, while necessary, has been totally insufficient to meeting the goal of educating all of our students to a high level. And if we don't do that, our economy's at peril, our democracy's at peril, and we're morally at peril as far as I'm concerned, because this is an ethical obligation.